Welcome to the Talking Book Voices, the podcast. Get ready to embark on the adventure with us as we dive into and celebrate the magic of the Texas Talking Book program. Let's raise our voices together and make the world of literature accessible for all. The Texas Talking Book program is a division of the State Library and Archives Commission and serves as a regional library for the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled, a division of the Library of Congress. The Talking Book program provides specialized library services to individuals who have a qualifying visual, physical, or reading disability, such as dyslexia. In each episode of the Talking Book Voices, we'll delve into the heart of the program, uncovering its history, sharing inspiring stories, and exploring the vast collection of materials it has to offer. We'll bring you the latest updates, interviews with program experts and patrons, and useful tips to make the most of this invaluable program for Texans and beyond. So whether you're an avid reader, someone who with a print disability seeking accessible materials, or just curious to learn about this great program, this podcast is made for you. Don't forget to visit us at www.texastalkingbooks.org for more information. So let's begin the Texas Talking Book Voices, a podcast by the Texas State Library and Archives Commission.
Did you know the Talking Book program holds author talks with Texas authors? Well, we do. You don't need any special technology. All you need is a phone. For more information, call us at 1-800-252-9605. Hi, podcast listeners. My name is Laura Jean, and I've been a Reader's Advisory Librarian here at the Talking Book program for 10 years now. Before that, I've worked as a library assistant at various different academic and public libraries for 12 years.
And I'm Margaret, still new to the Talking Book program, but so excited to be helping connect folks with books and learn along the way. Specifically, I'm a Reader's Advisory Librarian here at the Texas Talking Book program. One of our major responsibilities as Reader's Advisory Librarians is to know about the different types of books that are all available to our patrons, and one way to categorize books is by genre. So, you might be asking, what exactly is a genre? For our purposes, a genre is a group of books that have a similar subject matter, like romance or mysteries. So, on to the subject of this episode, mysteries. I want to get this out there from the beginning. I don't hate mystery fiction per se, but Laura Jean, I have to admit that I am not a lover by any stretch, despite numerous family members' attempts to convert me.
Well, to be honest, I like some mysteries, but I'm pretty picky about them. That's why it's very helpful to know what I specifically like in a mystery and what I specifically dislike, so that I can better select a mystery that will work for me. To be honest, I tend to prefer the emotional appeal of a thriller or suspense novel.
I guess that makes sense. What's the difference between a mystery and a thriller suspense novel?
Well, that's a very good question. It's easiest to pare them all down to the major key factors that define them. So, a mystery is one of the intellectual genres. They deal primarily with a pure puzzle or pose a quandary. People generally enjoy reading a mystery so that they can find the clues and pit their wits against the characters in the book. Suspense books and thrillers are all about sensation. They're adrenaline genres, so they use accelerated pacing to keep the reader on the edge of their seat, waiting to see what happens next. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't have a suspense novel containing a mystery, or a mystery with elements of suspense. You certainly can, but that's the main difference. Another distinction is that generally, in a mystery, the crime takes place in the beginning, and the protagonist spends the rest of the book trying to figure out who is responsible. Whereas a suspense or thriller novel may start out that way, but eventually the story asks why the crime was committed.
Okay, so basically the difference here is that in one, there is a focus on solving a puzzle and a mystery, whereas in the other, there's a much heavier emphasis on a sort of sensational thrill. I can get behind that, but then what's the difference between a suspense novel and a thriller?
Excellent question. Suspense is about what may happen, while a thriller is more of a back and forth between the hero and the villain. We'll get more into that in a later podcast episode when we tackle thrillers and suspense directly.
Ah, gotcha. What kinds of mysteries are there?
There are a bunch of different mystery subgenres, and they all have their own distinct appeal factors for readers. There are cozy mysteries. These are feel-good mysteries. They're gentle, lighthearted, sometimes humorous. They're the comfort reads of the mystery genre. They tend to take place in a small town or an enclosed environment like a school. The crime generally happens off stage, so they frequently contain little or no violence. And in the end, the criminal is always caught and moral order is restored. In the past couple of decades, cozy mysteries, featuring pets, hobbies, and all sorts of professions have been written. You can find one for almost any hobby or general interest a patron has. So they can be a good entry point into the mystery genre for readers. Hey, test me. Pick a hobby, any hobby.
Any hobby? Okay, then try bookbinding. That feels pretty obscure.
Okay, Brooklyn Wainwright is a bookbinder in the Bibliophile Mystery Series by Kate Carlisle.
Wow, there really is a cozy mystery series for most everything. What other subgenres are there?
Well, there are hard-boiled mysteries. Think of those 1940s film noir classics based on books like The Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett or The Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler. You have spare dialogue, and they're plot-driven. And often you have a lone wolf private investigator who's trying to solve a case for a client while working in the gray area outside the law. The main character is often cynical, with a traumatic backstory to explain why they're so jaded. Regarding the setting, they're usually set in a gritty city where corruption permeates society at all levels. Unlike the cozy mystery, there is no return to moral order, even after the crime is solved. These books tend to be realistic but gritty in tone and more likely to contain graphic violence and profanity. Recently, there's been a trend towards hard-boiled mysteries set in a gritty rural areas. A great example of this is S.A. Cosby's All Sinners Bleed. And then there are police procedurals. These books follow the police from the discovery of the crime to the capture of the criminal. The main character can be a detective or any other profession aligned with the police. For example, a medical examiner, like in the Dr. K. Scarpetta series by Patricia Cornwell, or a forensic artist, like the Eve Duncan series by Iris Johansen. Readers are drawn to this type of mystery because they follow a particular character, or because they enjoy the realism one finds in these type of novels. And then there's crime capers. Crime fiction, it's like the flip side of a mystery. Instead of being from the point of view of the one solving the crime, the main character is the one committing the crime. Often the book doesn't start with the discovery of the crime. Instead, you see the planning and execution. These are usually humorous, full of adventure, with clever characters. Generally, something goes wrong with the intended plan, and the cast of clever crooks needs to come up with a plan to fix it. Sometimes there's more than just one crime committed. And it's not all murder. Crime capers feature thefts, kidnappings, swindles, and cons. And they're often standalone books instead of a series. They're also a good entry point for readers who enjoy suspense and thrillers, but would like to try a mystery. A fun example is Counterfeit by Kristen Chen. And then there's true crime. Well, okay, this is a nonfiction genre, but I'm mentioning it because this is the mystery go-to for your nonfiction fans. Honestly, this could be a podcast episode of its own. But in general, they're mysteries that really happened. But they can also be very graphically violent, so definitely check in with your reader's tolerance for violence before recommending something like Who Killed These Girls by Beverly Lowry, about the yogurt shop murders here in Austin back in the 90s, or Midnight Assassin by Skip Hollandsworth, about the servant girl annihilator in Austin back in the 1880s. And then there are historical mysteries. Mysteries set in a historical setting are also popular. Sometimes the main character can be a known historical figure, like Sherlock Holmes or Sir John Fielding. The general appeal to the reader is the historical detail, but also the atmosphere of a specific time and place. A great recent example is Amy Chua's Golden Gate. It takes place in San Francisco in the 1930s and 40s, and the main protagonist is a private investigator who's trying to figure out who killed a local politician. It looks at socioeconomic differences in San Francisco at that time, as well as racial ones. It's also a bit of a hard-boiled detective mystery.
So, just like you can have suspense mixed into traditional mystery, you can mix some of these subgenres together?
Oh, absolutely. And the ultimate example of that are genre blends. So, some of the genre blends are mixed between fantasy and mystery, like The Dresden Files by Jim Butcher, where he's in Chicago and he is a wizard and he's solving crimes. Or the Sookie Stackhouse mysteries are a good example of a mystery genre blend mixed with horror or a paranormal fiction. And then you have a mix between westerns and mysteries, like the Holmes on the Range series, or science fiction and mystery genre blends, like the In Death series, which takes place in the 2050s, so it's a dystopian future type setting. In fact, the In Death series by J.D. Robb, also known as Nora Roberts, has over 50 books.
Okay, so you've managed to hit a pet peeve of mine. Why are so many of these mysteries part of a series? And why are they always so long?
Yeah, well, okay, the In Death series is a wonderful example of that. Instead of asking why so many mysteries are part of a series, let's go back a step and explain what the appeal of a series is for many readers. Think of a series as a sequence of books that all have the same setting or take part in the same universe or franchise, but each book has its own self-contained plot.
Oh, so like the Marvel movies, where you can watch a movie here or there as the mood strikes and still have a good time and get the plot, regardless of if you've seen every movie?
Right! All the world building has already been done. The setting and many of the characters are familiar, and that can be comforting for people watching those movies. In addition, they might have a favorite character, and they want to watch more of the movies in that universe to follow their particular story arc. It's the same with books, specifically with mysteries. A lot of mystery series have a quirky, eccentric main character. In each separate book in the series, the main character solves the mystery, so it's self-contained. But with each successive book, the story arc of the main character continues. Fans like to know what's going to happen to their favorite character next.
I guess that's another thing that's always bugged me about mystery series. I feel like a lot of the characters are made for very specific purposes and to fill very specific archetypal roles that I just don't gel with. Plus, the character stories are placed within a serialized structure. It feels like the characters are denied meaningful development. Nothing ever progresses, and if it does, it's positively glacial.
Oh, I can see that. And I think you're right. There are set archetypal characters: police officers, private detectives, forensic scientists, lawyers, and even the amateur sleuths. They are then all set into generally formulaic situations. And I think for a lot of mystery readers, that familiarity is part of the draw.
So maybe I've just not spent enough time with the genre then. What else draws readers to mysteries?
First, they tend to like to challenge themselves. They want to see if they can figure out the mystery before the main character. They also tend to like the clear structure that many mysteries embrace. Police procedurals are known for this. The crime occurs, the police discover it, and they follow every step of the investigation to the resolution. A lot of readers appreciate the strict sense of order. It's predictable, and there's comfort in that for some readers. On the other hand, some readers like a twist or a surprise ending that they didn't anticipate. But they can still follow the clues and reach that conclusion themselves. And finally, oftentimes, mysteries are like a modern morality play, with good triumphing over evil. Justice is served and the social order is restored. It's similar to the happily ever after of a romance novel.
Okay, even I have to admit that does sound kind of fun. If I wanted to find a good place to start, maybe a book that would help me get my foot in the door, so to speak, what would you recommend for me?
Well, obviously you're not interested in a series.
Please no.
Well, after chatting with you, I feel like most mysteries aren't going to be a good fit. And that's okay. You seem like you might be more into a thriller with mystery elements. You're usually more of a horror fan, right? And thriller suspense as emotional genres have more in common with horror in general. You know, crime capers generally overlap mystery and thriller. They tend not to be a series. And because the protagonist is a criminal, they tend not to be as formulaic as some of the mystery main characters. If you're okay with a historical crime caper, there's Flipping Boxcars by Cedric the Entertainer. It takes place during the Depression. Or if you want something a little more humorous, perhaps you'd like to try Finley Donovan is Killing It by L. Cosimano. Actually, the best way to determine if you might like a mystery is to pick something short, like a collection of short stories. The time invested is low, so if you don't like it, you haven't wasted as much time as you would on an entire book. For example, you might try Usual Santas, a collection of Soho crime Christmas capers. Or if you're into a good genre blend of mystery and science fiction, there's Tomorrow's Crimes by Donald Westlake. In fact, we have a couple of mystery genre and genre blend bibliographies full of recommendations for anyone who's interested. We have one on culinary cozy mysteries, contemporary Western mystery series, and crime capers, just to name a few.
Ooh, well then, consider me readers advised. I'll have to go download those on Bard when we're done here. Laura Jean, thank you for such a thorough analysis of the genre. I learned a lot today, and I hope that anyone listening did too. For any pre-existing mystery fans tuning in, here's some questions for you. What is it about mysteries that you like? Do you have a favorite subgenre when you read mysteries? And do you have a favorite type of main character? Detective, PI, amateur sleuth? But on that note, listeners, thinking about what you enjoy about a book or a genre helps us make the best recommendations, and it helps us think outside the box to help you find books in similar genres or from similar authors you might enjoy. You never know when something you specifically loved will find us a treasure trove of fantastic recommendations, and more information is always better than less.